Well, there we are, done. Now you see how it's working out really nicely, isn't it? Now there is one thing I'm going to add to this now, but you may not have one of these, and this is a double-ended eraser, or what's left of it. I'm wearing mine out. One end we have a soft rubber, which I use an awful lot, and the other end is a hard rubber. And that's a little bit like the old typist rubber. And I'm going to do something rather spectacular with this, on this picture right now. What I want to do is I'm going to put some colours in a minute, but what I want to do is I want to sort of blend and smooth it out without using one of them, because that would be too far, going too far. But what I'm using is the hard end of double-ended eraser. Let me show you. If you don't have one of these, don't try it with one of them, because it won't work. It will just smudge. This has got a point on it, and I can use it a bit like a pencil. Now, watch. I've already done a little bit up there at the same time, and it acts in a double, like gives you a double whammy. You actually take some off, and you blend it at the same time. See that? Probably you don't see it very well, so let me come closer, and then you might see it, the effect of it better. Notice I'm using it on the side again, because I don't want to crush the paper. But I'm just taking some of it off. And I can create some quite unusual effects. Okay, now, I'm not going to bore you, because I would do if I kept going on and on and on, because it's the same thing over and over again. But I just want you to see that close up. Okay, now let's move across here, just before I leave you, and show you this. Now, here I want that to be a little lighter. So, what I'm going to do is use the double-ended eraser, just like a pencil. So I'm putting the pencil on. And you notice the sweep of my hand. I'm creating that effect. Still a long way to go. We've still got lots of dark colours to put in there, and lots of other colours. But there you are. Let's have a look at that. I'll finish this off, and then you can have a look at it. And before I do some quite exciting colours next, they really do make a difference. Time to add some more colours now. I've already added the 182, which we've used before, and now adding a new colour. This is yellow ochre. I don't want too much yellow ochre, just a hint. This will be the least used of all the colours. It's just a hint. All it really does is enhances that brown ochre, those two. And the other colour is an important colour. This is 187. This is the colour that I used in the skin. So this is the colour I should be putting in, side of the pencil, and I think you'll see quite a difference. Off tone. It's only tone we're looking for now. Okay, like that. And I should proceed the whole of the hair like that. You can see the difference between the two. If you look at the two, or there and there, you can see what I haven't done. So I'll complete that the same way I've done there, and we'll come back, and then the next stage is to start using the really dark colours. Now I'm going to break off just for a moment to show you how I marry the skin, or the face, in this case, to the hair. I start off here because the face is over the hair. Now what I've done there is I put 187 in, and I'm now putting 103, which is the ivory colour, in. Now look at the difference that makes. Let me just pull it round so that you can see it better. What we have is we have an edge there now. We didn't have it before. And what I did, I went over and smoothed off the edge of the hair, like that. Let me do that, show you again, like that. And then by bringing the skin tone back, you could use ivory, you could use pink, you could use white, it's depending. You get that effect by coming down, not quite to the edge. Okay, and you'll see the effect of this in the end and how well it works. So that's one area, and as I said, we can use white, we can use, depending on what we have in the skin, tones, and here we have quite a lot of white in that particular area. So we put a little bit of white in, and we have that effect. Okay, so that's one area. Now another area is here. Now here we have some shadow that's coming in from the result of the hair. So just move that along a little bit. I always use this paper, incidentally. This stops my hand from creating a problem. Now in here, let me just do all of this for you, just there, like that. You see that? Now what we have now is a shadow that putting. See, I haven't done any there deliberately to show you. And there's another colour which I actually not used in the hair. And this is a 283, and you can use 283, which I've used in the skin, to darken it down a little more. Just like that. Now there's two ways you could do this. You could either use a blender, in other words you could blend this in, or you could use, as I've said before, a suitable pastel pencil. In this case the ivory is a good colour. Now watch how I do this with the ivory. Bring it back, but we don't press too hard. Whereas over here I don't do that. So it creates a shadow. Now you could do this several times according to how deep you want the shadow to be. Now you see what a fantastic difference that makes. Now once you've done that, you can then put in, or just finish off, any detail you've got. For instance, the edge of that eyebrow can just fade in to the shadow, which looks good. It's only a small thing, but it does certainly make a difference. Now the other thing is we want to put a few loose hairs in. Now actually I wouldn't do it yet, I'd wait until I'd finished the hair, but I'm just going to show you how we do that. Now we just put a few hairs over the top. I'm doing this with 177, which is the next colour I'm going to be using. You see the difference it makes? Fantastic. Okay. Now I'll finish that off once I get the rest of the hair done. But that's how I'm going to do it. So let me move on round. Now I've done that, and let's just do a little bit here as well. Not so much here because it's not going to be quite so obvious, and just along that edge we can put some in and into that division there. Over the top slightly, you have to be slightly over the top with it. And then bring it back. And I'm going to use not that one, Colin. Yes, no, I was right first time, but a little bit of the 283. There we are. You see how that works? Okay, let's move on now. We'll use ivory again because we've used it all the way along here, and we use the ivory again to blend out the edge. And when we get up to there now, here we've got to be careful. We can go all the way blending, but we put the pressure on as we come out into the skin. And as I said, you can do this 2 to 3 times until you actually get the effect that you're actually wanting. Now that's pretty good, isn't it? And in there's not much I need to do. I think that looks good. I would probably finish off a little bit. I'd put a bit more white in, and then I could even be putting a bit more pink in if I wanted to. But you then shape the face accordingly. So there we are, another area. You see how it's looking less like a wig? Down here, this is the final area. Again, this is over here is a bit like it was over here. I'm using 187 again. Here, a little deeper. Now the cheekbone is there, so we don't want it quite so much there, so just a little bit of coming out from maybe to there, and our 283. All this is going to help when I come to actually finish the hair off. There we go. Ivory, giving a smoother look. There we are. Doesn't that look fabulous? Now, I mean, there would be more to do if I was doing the face, which I'm not at the moment, but I would actually lighten up here as well a little more. Let me just show you that. This little bonus for you. I'd lighten it here. But if this interests you, then make sure you see my clip-on skin. What a difference. Okay, now we're going to move on. You see, something magic's happened to the top there. Well, it's not magic, folks, it's me. What I'm doing is using two colours, those two. But just before I used those two colours, what I actually did was, with my ivory pencil, I just enhanced the lighter areas, as you can see here. I'll just go over the areas I've already done. I've done all of this. Because here I'm going, because the light finishes here. Okay, and then we can also put in colours over the top like this, but I'll show you as we go along. So now I'm going to work down here, showing you how, but I come bring you a little closer so you can see how effective this can be. But what we're doing is bringing the dark in here. Now the two colours I'm using is 177 and 199, which is the that's the walnut brown, that's the black. But I've also got another pencil in my hand, which is 283. That's what I've been using, that in here and in here for the skin. And I used it certainly quite a lot in the skin. But let me just show you how we start the procedure. Now I'll come from there, make sure you can see this here. What I'm doing is using the pencil, as you can see, to start to develop some of the dark. And watch the action of this pencil. Now it's okay to be straight, but occasionally we want it to have some kind of design to it, because hair's not going to be that manageable. It's all going to fly every which way. So we come down here like that, and then come down and do a little bit more. And do a little bit at a time, following your original idea. Now, on top of that, we put the black. Now the black is going on top of the 177. And that gives us the extra strength we need. You see, it's quite a lot of light in the hair. We come down here. Make sure you see everything. Now the other colour I'm going to use, I'm just going to turn this round now so that I've got a better angle. This is the 283, and the 283 we can bring that into the colour and just create a shading with it. It doesn't really matter if this one actually goes over the light area, because it is a more compatible colour. Now I will continue that until I've done the whole of this section, and then what I'll do is I'll come back and show you how we then start putting it together, and then we'll do that side. So we'll do one side complete, then we do another side, so you really do get the very best possible instruction on this. So let me continue the way I've started here. Now we have to blend everything. Now we go back over it again, the same way as I showed you before. But this time we've got very dark colours we're dealing with. But you still think along the same line, still curl the hair and twist it to how you feel that you want it represented. And this is the stage when you think, oh, what a muddy mess. But as you will see, it won't turn out that way at all. You've got to be brave. Before the colour shaper came along, we had to completely rethink the whole hair situation, but it never looked anywhere near as realistic as it does when you use the shaper. And this is reasonably straight hair. When you've got curly hair, we've got a completely different ball game. But that's for another clip. There we are. Now, there's the difference between the two. However, what we have here is we have a little bit messy, so we've now got to start bringing colours back into it. And this is where it really does get quite clever, because we start with all these light colours that we've had before. We're going to be using them all again. We find the white too. So what we do now is we start with the lightest area. So let's I'll pull back so that you can see this better as a whole.